Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. I am using the Mae North Botanical Oracle Deck, and there is no guidebook for this, so I will be reading you the little bit of information that is listed on each card. And then I will also be providing you with intuitive insights that I receive. So here is card 1A, card 2B, card 3C. You can pause if you'd like, and if you need some more time to figure out which card you feel most drawn to, you can also ask a question, and then you could be provided with answers from the card. Also, everything that I say and talk about in this video is for entertainment purposes only and cannot be stated as fact. Alright, let's get right into the video. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. You chose poinsettia. I don't think it's the same as poinsettia. Is that like the same thing but people say it wrong, or am I saying it wrong? But poinsettia is what I'm going to say. And the key words are celebration, cheer/success, and joy/thankfulness. On the sides it says, today let us be thankful for everything, and on the other side it says, the time is here to celebrate your success. So this is a time really I'm feeling of not worrying at all, taking it easy, and relaxing. I think a lot of you have worked very hard and have achieved a lot, especially throughout this year or from this point last year. I think a lot of you have achieved a lot or have worked really hard towards something you really wish to achieve, or multiple things you want to achieve. And whether you have achieved something or not, actually, like, let's say you worked really hard, you still haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve, even if you've wanted to achieve it by this point in time, I'm getting a sense that you should still take some time to be thankful and grateful and to rest and relax. And then no matter what, you'll come back stronger after a period of rest and relaxation, whether you've had a lot of successes or not. So it's really a time of resting, relaxing, and also trusting the process, trusting that things will work out in the way that they should. And whether, again, that means that things have been working out in a positive way for you, or in a way where there have been many bumps and turns. But whatever path you're on, I feel that many of you are on that correct path that you should be on. And if, again, there will be road bumps, as there always are. Maybe for some of you there really haven't been. And that's just, then tap more into that celebration piece and be very grateful. When we are in a state of, I want to preface this. I hate toxic positivity, but I will say when we are in a state of being grateful, thankful, and like positive-minded, that helps us. So it's okay to be upset. It's okay. Like, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh yeah, don't ever think upset thoughts, because then you will attract negative things, or things won't happen positively for you. I'm not saying that, because truthfully, it's a normal human emotion to feel like upset or sad or angry. And like sometimes for me even, I will talk to my guides or, my loved ones, my higher self, and I'll just be like, what is going on? Like, why are things going out in this way? And oftentimes it's ourselves getting in our own way. But anyway, I feel that a lot of you shouldn't be hard on yourself. Some of you, I feel, will be, but some of you will also maybe now recognize all that you have done, or all that you are on your way to doing or achieving. And it's a time of just being really happy and grateful. And I know it talks about joy and cheer and celebration, but I feel like there's a state of peace that I'm associating with many of you, where it's a time of not only relaxation, because I can tell you to relax and chill the F out all I want, but that doesn't mean you will, right? I think some of you won't really take that into consideration as much, or else some of you maybe can't at this point in time. But then that means when you can take the time to rest and relax, do that. If it's not at this point in time, this is just an indication from spirit. I'm just reading the cards, y'all. So hopefully that's coming up soon for you if you are not able to do that right now. Well, it's like holiday season right now, so hopefully it's interesting, because I think a lot of people in your life are very proud of you, like especially family, and if you have chosen family or friends, then that's the case where people are so proud of you. Some people maybe don't even tell you how much they appreciate you or how proud they are of you. I think a lot of people are in awe of you and like your drive, or how you continue to go and work hard in the face of adversity and push through. And really, I think you have a lot of admirers that, or at least a few key admirers that really appreciate you. I feel like even strangers recognize your energy and your drive right now. Like, honestly, there's something I was going to say before, but I got distracted by saying that message because it came through very strongly. It was about that rest relaxation piece. For some of you, sleeping right now, like getting extra sleep or at least adequate sleep right now is extra important, but that isn't even what I was going to say. Ooh, I will say though, for you, dreaming could be very helpful for you, like remembering your dreams and writing them down could help you connect the pieces for what you need to do. Or journaling and or manifesting like right before bed will be very helpful for you in helping to achieve things. And that's also a way in which it can get you excited, but still you can get your relaxation time in and sleep in. There was something really important I was going to say before I talked about like the people in your life though, and like random people. It was very important. It was about that rest relaxation piece. Not just about sleep. Not specifically only about rest. Oh, I want to talk more about, that's right, about being in a state of peace. Like, you can be happy, but I feel like even if you're happy, you'll feel this overwhelming sense of peace at this time, or you should, hopefully soon. I'm really sensing, like, a neutrality, but not in any way negative. Of course, neutrality is not negative, that's why it's called neutral, but being neutral where it's like hard work balances out the outcome that you have achieved or that you are close to achieving. So the state of peace and the state of neutrality of being grateful and thankful and being very, and it's also like the balancing of logic and the emotional side and also intuition, where it's like you understand how everything has come together for you, how all the pieces came together and how you got to this point. And it's from that balance and combination of logic and, emotion and intuition. And maybe for some of you, that's what I need to say to you to turn on the light bulb in your mind to like help the final pieces connect together, if that makes sense. Where it's like, it's great to have a plan and put that in motion. I think a lot of you, it's helpful for you to be organized as well. Some of you probably are very organized. If not, then that could be a connecting piece for you to get more organized, is what I'm sensing as well. But again, that's something to think of during or even after this period of relaxing, because then that will help clear your mind and get you to understand what you need to do moving forward. And maybe you are at that end result, that end outcome, and you're like, where do I go from here? So celebrate, enjoy this time of rest and relaxation, and then you will get to know what you want to do in the future once you have a more clear and level head. But that is it for you 1A. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much and take care. Hello 2B and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So I will say, I know without a doubt that Peach, which is your card that you chose, was an option. I don't remember if it was like three, I don't know, it was 1, 2, or 3, so any of the 3. But it was on the most, not most recent, but it was on the other video I did with this deck, however long ago that was. Peach was one of the options, and I know that for a fact, so I will read you what it says on here. It says Peach: vitality, spiritual connections, longevity, heal, health. And then the phrases on the side say sobriety from toxins, foods, or alcohol, and ask spirit for guidance and help when needed. So if you chose this card, I think a lot of you, well, I especially have to, oh, that's so true. Okay, so first I want to say I think a lot of you have been having bad food habits, and I think a lot of you have been eating a lot of junk food and have been neglecting the role of nutrition in your overall health. Some of you also have been really not doing great for sleep. And I know that starting around this time of year, people can become really, well, some of you, especially if you're college students or if you're back in school, that can really put a damper on your health, your nutrition. Whether, yeah, that's so true. Okay. Also, okay, yes. This is also true. I feel like there's a lot I want to say. When the weather gets colder, especially if you live somewhere where you can noticeably feel the difference. It's a lot colder. Like where I live, Minnesota, where places like that, people are likely to gain more weight, and gaining weight is fine, but for some of you, I think that may be an insecurity, which is why I bring it up. But it's not even just about gaining weight, but it's about eating foods that aren't good for you and not in moderation. And people tend to do that more when it gets colder out, and also when people get anxious about the end of the year and the beginning of the year. So really notice that if you have bad food habits. I think some of you maybe binge a bit and snack a lot as well. I will say though, for those of you who restrict or kind of go back and forth between, different bad food habits, this is, I think, for many of you going to be difficult in terms of if this relates to you. It will be difficult to go to the holiday parties that you want to go to and like be back at home with family or friends, because I think then, like, if you are somebody who tends to restrict or look at what they eat, then you'll either fall back onto bad patterns because of like the holiday season, and maybe you'll start eating really bad. Or maybe if you eat just like normal holiday related foods, then you'll be really hard on yourself. No matter what it is, there's just something about, I think the holiday season especially is going to be very hard for you in terms of the food. So don't be hard on yourself for like let's say if you're somebody who exercises a lot and is trying to lose weight or is just trying to be healthier. That doesn't mean you can't have, I don't even like calling them cheat meals, by the way, because it's like you're not cheating, you're just living your life, you're just eating food. So if you want to have food that isn't like considered quote unquote as healthy, if it's not as healthy, that's fine. Like everything is in moderation. So now's a good time to, I want to say, test yourself and see if you're able to handle any insecurities you have around food and any bad habits that you have, and especially with the mindset as well. I think some of you use food as like a crutch, and you can be very anxious and insecure about food. Maybe some of you, for some of you this will relate. I'm not getting it strongly for like all of you, but some of you maybe grew up in food insecurity, and so because of that, that's why you have bad food habits now. I know that's why like my food issues have come about. A lot of it is because of not only what was modeled to me, but like because of financial situation, food situation growing up. But anyway, with this too, when it says ask Spirit for guidance, make sure that at this time you can ask Spirit for help and helping watch over you and being there for you when any anxious thoughts come up about food. And instead you can hopefully feel more at peace. If you're feeling anxious and you recognize your anxiety before you do anything, just like ask them to be around you. For me, especially because I often eat alone when I'm at home, I ask for Spirit to, especially when I'm feeling really anxious, I ask Spirit to, I'm a very visual person, some of you it might be harder, but even just if you can't visualize, asking Spirit to be around you when you're eating, like almost like you're in a circle together, like a big happy family. I think sometimes when people are alone, they can be even more anxious and fall into worse habits because it feels like nobody's watching. So that's why I like to imagine Spirit being around me, because it's like it reminds you they're here, they're watching, and they're here for you and with you, and they're rooting you on. Of course, I have to mention the sobriety from alcohol. So some of you, if you have any addictive issues or you maybe don't realize that you do, now's a good time to look at your intake of substances and of alcohol. And also, again, around holiday seasons, I feel like it probably gets worse for people, especially when people do not have other people around. So now's a good time to, if you do not have close family or friends, try to form friendships and acquaintances and try to get out there and be more sociable. Even if it's, like I think about this, like, scientists have talked about and psychologists have talked about, there's not really, what are they called? Like common spaces, shared spaces? I don't remember what they're called, but there's not as many physical locations for people to just meet up and like get to know each other compared to before, and now there's a lot of resources for people to do things online. Do not stick to being alone. all the time. Try and put yourself out there. And I think about, for me, whenever I'm able to, I would like to go to, like, whenever I have a gym membership in the future, I want to be able to do that and also go to gym classes. And I don't think I wouldn't want to go for, like, whatever the class is. I would want to go to be able to meet people, and then for the other people who are regulars there, it's like you can form a connection. I've thought about joining a book club before, but I'm like, I can't do that. I am not good at reading. I try to read. I've read a lot and studied a lot, especially for, like, my field, especially for astrology and, like, the holistic side of things, reincarnation, all that, but anyway, okay, where was I at? Okay, but asking spirit for help and for guidance when you're there will be very helpful, and they can also guide you to things that will help take your mind off of, like, any food insecurity or any other, like, substances that you may or may not be addicted to in any way, shape, or form. And maybe they'll recommend, like, yoga or a gym class, right, or a book club or whatever else. And I think should be a big emphasis on doing things that allow you to be sociable, of course, with good influences. Some of you maybe have bad influences around you, and I think a lot of you don't recognize that, the bad influences that you have, or how much of an impact that they do have on you when you are around them, or when you think about them, when you talk to them, any of that. So even having better boundaries with who you have around you will help you with your habits, and also just with your overall health. Let's see, is there anything else? Those are the main things I really felt. I felt there's actually a lot that Spirit wanted me to get out with you when I was talking. Let's see, is there anything else? I'm trying to look. I'm looking at, like, those keywords, and I'm just keep looking at the spiritual connections. So I feel like a lot of you really need to focus on your connection with Spirit, and they'll help you a lot during this time. Like, I'm somebody who also is really bad, at least I used to be, with asking for help, at least with Spirit, because it's like, oh, I can do this myself, like, you'll be proud of me, I'll be able to do it myself. Like, I've recently been a lot better at recognizing, hey, I need to ask for help and guidance, and, like, for them to watch over me, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why they're here. So a lot of you really need to focus on that, but overall, just focus on your health. For some of you, maybe it's more of a mental thing right now, mental health. Whatever it is, focus on healing yourself. But that is it for you, 2B. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and take care. Hello, 3C, and welcome to your part of the Pick a Card reading video. So, there are definitely two main sides of this card that, two main messages that are coming through. And I think one message will resonate with some of you, and then the other message with the others. There may be, like, an overlap, but we'll see. Okay, you chose Petunia. The key words are heated emotions, disagreement/anger, and dedication/strong will. The phrases on the side say, if you believe in it, don't give up on it, and dedication and strong will to succeed. So I think when I pulled this card, I immediately felt very uncomfortable. I think a lot of you have a lot of anger right now, and that isn't to say that it's always unjustified, but I think some of you have had a lot of anger held inside of you for too long, and maybe I think for a lot of you it's about one specific thing, or one or two specific things, I'll say, and it's been really holding you back for whatever reason, and having you hold on to this anger. And some of you, the thing with anger is that sometimes it's suppressed, and sometimes people just don't realize how much anger they have. Like, when I was younger, especially when I was in 6th grade, like, I had so much anger inside of me, and I did not realize where in the heck, like, I didn't even realize that I had that much anger, to be quite honest. Like, I didn't realize until looking back, I'm like, oh, I was, like, a very, very, very angry child for a bit there. And of course, some of you, maybe it's because of your circumstances, or, you know, if you're older and you're like me, where in childhood it was modeled for you, it's like, you know, that makes sense, but it's not good for you in the long run to hold on to so much anger. And I just feel it in my chest, like, I feel the anger, and I feel that with a lot of this anger comes fear. I think a lot of you may be vulnerable, or I should say, sorry, a lot of you are afraid to be vulnerable, and that, I think, can be from experiences that you've had, where you've been hurt from a person or a situation in the past. So you just don't want to go there. So you put your guard up, you protect yourself. And so your coping mechanism can be anger. And that doesn't mean, I will say, some people have a range of different emotions that they exhibit and coping mechanisms that they have. Some of you maybe flip-flop between anger and other types of emotions, but some of you maybe are just a lot more angry than you realize. And maybe you're more passive-aggressive too, but that's still a form of aggressiveness, and it's a lot of times comes from anger. So I had to get that out of the way. For the other... Oh yeah, it does say anger for the keyword, I forgot. But I mean, it's true, I am just feeling like anger. I feel that, notice when you're talking to people, if you tend to disagree with people a lot, and or you're always trying to get into fights with people, because I see you not being able to see eye to eye with people, and then also taking out your frustrations on others, especially if they don't think the same as you, or if they haven't had the same experiences as you even. But yeah, I would definitely focus on that. So the other message that I had, especially ties in with the dedication and strong will to succeed. Some of you are feeling very burnt out, and maybe you've been working really hard for something to happen, or you've been wishing and manifesting so hard for something to happen, but it has not happened for you, or not at the pace that you want for something to happen, for things to unfold. And so a lot of you feel very burnt out and feel like giving up, and this is Spirit's sign that you should not give up. But I will say some of you will need to not completely change course, but don't completely change your path that you're on, but with that path, you might need to take a different route there, if that makes sense. So some of you are not going about something in the right way. And I'm trying to think of how that applies. That's just what I'm hearing. Let's say you are wanting... I don't know why, college career stuff keeps coming up, but I guess, success oftentimes is tied in with all of that. Let's say you are manifesting a job out of state. Let's say you love Washington, and you're manifesting, maybe you have more of a niche job, and you want your type of job to open up let's say in Seattle. But it's so niche, and there are no job openings, and let's say you've been waiting for 2-3 years, right? So this could be an indication from Spirit, hey, don't give up on that dream, but maybe in the meantime, maybe you'll likely already have work in your field, where you are. Maybe what you can do is you can move closer, or move just outside of Seattle. So that's also a compromise. So some of you, I think a keyword is compromise, so use that as an example where it's okay, that person in the example that I used didn't get to live in Seattle, but maybe they lived in a suburb or an hour away from Seattle, and they just love Seattle for some reason, so they love going around town in Seattle. And I think for a lot of you, for example, that having that kind of mindset, this is a compromise, but also I'm still wanting this. And if you realize you're still living in Washington, and it's I'll still be on the lookout for this job in Seattle, and then I'll move closer to my work and be in Seattle. I'll still have that open mind. But then it's especially for some of you who I feel are really wanting to manifest right now and visualize, I think doing something like that helps set things in motion. And it's a nod to Spirit, hey, I know it hasn't happened yet, but I still really want this to happen. And so I'm going to make this compromise, but I'm still going to manifest, but I'm still going to make the best of what I have now, and I know that what I want will happen for me, and it is something that is attainable for me. But in the meantime, I will just do this. But also, here's the thing, with those compromises, you still have to be happy with that result. Some of you may not at first be happy, but with the compromises that you make sure that you end up being happy with them, or if you feel okay, I think I'll get used to that, if that makes sense for you. But yeah, I just feel Spirit wants me to reassure you, things will fall into place, even if it's, but I really, and it doesn't say this on the card, but it might not just be in the way that you think or want, but maybe it will be in the way that you need and you don't realize it. Okay. A lot of times that ends up being what happens. I want to give an example, talking about travel and moving and stuff. I keep going back and forth on where I want to move to eventually in the future, because I do not want to stay in Minnesota forever. It is not good for my overall health, like physical and mental and emotional, spiritual, everything. Like, it's just not. And it's not, like, the nature can be very beautiful, right? But it's just the overall weather, especially the winter. I have a lot of PTSD with the winter and all that. But so I won't get into that. But what I will say is I keep going back and forth on where I want to move to. And even for some of you too, it's like, I think a lot of you will change your mind, or a lot of you already constantly change your mind. Let's say, for example, you always are changing your mind on where you want to move to. So let's say for like a few months you want to move to this one place, and then like an opportunity arises where you can move to that place, and then you do, and you're like, oh, I really wish I would have waited, or now I want to move somewhere else, or I'm gonna wait to move somewhere else because I actually don't like it here, or I didn't consider this, and this. So be very thorough and careful about what you're thinking about, because with this card too, I think a lot of times, not only disagreement and anger, but and heated emotions, but passion. I think a lot of you can get very passionate, and then that comes and goes. It's fleeting. So make sure that if there's something you really want to do, I think Spirit is wanting you to be patient right now if it isn't happening yet, because they know that you can flip-flop, and they want to make sure that you truly are on the right path and that you are doing what you want to do. I think many of you are on the right path, but I think sometimes you get in your own way and you don't allow things to settle and you're not patient enough. So those are the messages I have for you with 3C. Thank you so much and take care. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. If you liked the content, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below, as it really helps my channel out a lot. You can follow me on my socials listed here on the screen. Thank you and blessed be.